There's a hostage situation at 550 yards. A really small person has been taken hostage by a metal lollipop, and I'm their only hope for rescue. I finally got the right hold with a few shots for practice. And there's still, amazingly, still the hostage situation, but we're going to see if I can take that guy out. Yes! I can't believe that. That really was the first shot with the right hold. That's crazy. You know, the problem with these Christmas tree reticles is you can get lost in them, just like you could get lost in turning the dials. And I was skipping them off the ground in front because I was holding it 2.7 instead of 3.7. That's all on me. But that was the first shot where I was actually aiming the right place, and I nailed it. So, yeah, as long as I get some practice shots in, I'm the guy you want to rescue you from a hostage situation. That was awesome. Hey, thanks for tuning in to Twang and Bang. You can tell I was pretty excited to hit this flipper at 550 yards. It's not the first target of this size that I've hit at 550 yards. You know, once I get my wind correct, it's not really that hard for me to hit. I'd say 8 out of 10 times. But the fact that I was focused on not hitting the good guy really adds another degree of challenge and another degree of fun when you pull it off. It wasn't my first bullet that I sent down range. I had a luxury that the guys who actually do this for a living with real hostage situations don't have. I was able to warm up. I was able to see that actually I goofed up where I was holding in my reticle, but once I got that right, I was able to make the first shot, second shot, and third shot. Boom, 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 right in a row on this. I was especially elated because I've been bugging Evan at shootsteel.com to make a hostage target for 2 years now. And he finally did, and he made some really clever design choices in coming out with what he calls the modular hostage target. And that's what's coming up next on Twang and Bang. This is everything that comes in the box. It doesn't come with this rust on it. That's from it riding around in the back of my pickup truck for about 3 weeks. And this is just an aesthetic thing. Rust is not going to impact the integrity of AR rated steel. I keep my steel outside when I'm not hauling it around in my truck, and it'll last forever. You're going to shoot it up before it's going to rust out. You can see here, actually, all you have to do is paint it if you want to, and you're not going to have an issue with the rust, and the hardware is not going to rust. First thing you need to do with the reactive target is remove the hardware from the popper, because the spring that needs to get flipped around. They just have the spring in there backwards so that you can actually fold it up flat for shipping. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky. But the idea is that you need to have the spring arms like this, making an L. And so you kind of have to shove it in there. That's not too bad. There we go. Pretty simple. That's it. So you just need to make sure you have this flipped over so the spring, as you can see now, will keep the flipper up. And then you just use wrenches to tighten it down. And it's got a nylon lock nut, so you won't have to worry about this coming apart. There, okay, it's snugged down. And now it's gonna work like a popper, spring return. That's it. That's the only thing you need tools for, is getting that spring flipped around, and then the hardware cinched down so it's not going to come apart. So here's where it gets really cool. These are the legs. They don't have a front, back, right, left, doesn't matter. I mean, this really should be obvious, but I'm going to show you how to do it anyway, just so you can see how fast it is. I'm going to turn this sideways, so now you can see all you have left to do is stick the popper in the back. There we go. And you want to make sure it's fully seated. And so there you go. You got your, maybe it's a 2/3 E-type. It's about the vital size of the E-type. And you got your hostage taker right here. And you can shoot either. You can shoot whatever you want on this, and it's not going to be a problem. Let's go set this up and put some rounds on it. As you're about to see, if you're going to hammer the flipper close like this, you really need to stake it down. The legs have slots precisely for that reason, but unfortunately, I didn't have any stakes with me. On hard, dry ground like this, the target will walk a bit, even to the point of falling over, because impacts on the flipper put a lot of torque on the target. I don't have the gas block tuned for this ammo and this suppressor, so I don't have enough ammo to do that. And shoot, you're going to bear with me. This is not the rifle's fault. One of the things I like about having an adjustable gas block is I can tune the rifle to the load so I get a nice gentle recoil impulse. But the problem is you have to tune the rifle for the load or it won't reliably function. Oh! I took out both. Well, let's do some headshots on the hostage. Put him out of his misery. Ah! Only had one shot left anyway. Oh! One of the cool things about this target is it's not just a rifle target, it's also a pistol target, or a pistol caliber carbine like this Chris Vector and 45 ACP. I'm about 25 yards out. I actually don't know how well this is zeroed to this combination, so I'm going to start on the hostage. And that's one thing you need to keep in mind. And just because it's a hostage doesn't mean you can't use it as a target for training. Oh, come on. Oh, malfunction. Oh, I'm empty now. Let's try that again. I'm gonna take my time this time. Maybe I'll do a little better. That's generally how it works. Still super fun. Well, I've already shot this a whole lot with 9mm, but I forgot to turn my microphone on. So this time we're gonna do it with sound because steel's best when you can hear it. Only have 11 rounds left. Let's make it count. Oh, got the hostage with the last one. Well, that's gonna have to do. At least I hit steel. I hate it when my last shot is a miss. I hit something. The most obvious benefit of this design is its portability. You could take this apart and put it in the floor well of a sedan to take it to the range. You don't need a pickup truck like I have. You don't even need like a hatchback or anything. This packs up really small. But there's more to it than that, because the biggest weakness to other hostage targets from different manufacturers is that some of them will actually weld the bracket, the popper, right onto the hostage plate, and that wrecks the AR rating of the steel. So you end up chewing through the steel too fast, or if they do it with light welds, the welds themselves will break off and you end up with a busted up target either way. The other option would be to bolt this whole bracket to the hostage target, but again, you got those bolts that you're going to be shooting and chewing through. Over time, you're going to have to replace those a lot more quickly than you're going to have to replace the strike plate on this target. And this design also makes it super easy to replace the strike plates as you need. Just once you chew through this, you know, you got front and back to run, you just pull this off and put a new one in. Once you chew through this, you got front and back you could use before you have to worry about replacing it. You just replace that. It's super easy. Everything about this target is really slick. The only downside is it is something that sits down on the ground. It doesn't sit up high, but that's not a problem with any of the berms that I shoot at. They also make one that doesn't have a flipper. It has a static plate, and you're gonna save about 110 bucks going that way. I would recommend that actually if you're gonna primarily use this for pistol targets, because in reviewing my footage, a fair number of those 45 ACP rounds were not fully fragmenting. They were flipping this back and I could hear them going off who knows where. And I don't really like sending fragments even, let alone whole bullets, out of the bay that I'm shooting out of. So if you're using 9mm high velocity or greater, stuff was fragmenting. But if you're gonna do a lot of pistol shooting, I would say get the static plate. For rifle shooting though, this is the one you want, because on a static plate at 550 yards, it might be hard for you to call your own hits between the hostage or the terrorist once you start wearing the paint off. If they're freshly painted, that's not that big a deal. But I really did like the added feedback of the flipper. If you want to learn more about the modular hostage target from shootsteel.com, be sure to click the link in the video description below. Be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. You can see the links right here. And be sure to click right here to subscribe so you can catch my next videos on bows, guns, and other cool stuff. I really appreciate you watching Twang and Bang, and I hope to see you next time.